You've got some players in, but it's developed a little bit quicker for you now, and a couple of players have come in good areas that you wanted. Let's first of all start with the man who's coming home, as he says, in Louie Dodds.
Yeah, well, obviously the situation with Louie Dodds, he's been a name that's obviously people have mentioned ever since I've come back to the club, and I did inquire about him when he was at Shrewsbury in January, and obviously he went to Chesterfield, which is no problem with that. It's always a choice of the player, but looking at it, and I did look at it again, he wasn't somebody that I immediately was going to go back for, and I've obviously been speaking to a lot of forward players during the summer, but the fact that there was too many factors probably in his favour, and when I weighed it up, probably when I was away for a while and had to give it a little bit more thought, there was a lot of reasons to bring him back. Obviously because he wanted to play for the club, which I think is the biggest factor, because obviously you speak to players during the summer, you realise that some are not really interested in what club they play for, but with him I felt he had I'd heard a lot about him. I'd seen him play a few times, I'd never actually met him, but when I spoke to him, I felt that he wanted to come back for the right reasons. I have to say as well, financially wise, it's a great deal for us. I mean, he's without giving too much away, he's costing us next to nothing, really, and that's got to be a factor when you've got a budget to work with. So he knows that he has to, although he's been here before, he's got to come back with a point to prove, because last season didn't go well for him, and I think I was honest with him to say that when I'd watched him last year, I expected him to do better, but he's got a clean start now. I'm not really interested in what he did in the past and what he did last season. He's got an opportunity now to do well at a club that he wants to play for, and I know he's really good to have around the club. He's positive in the dressing room, and that's a big factor as well. So I'm happy to have him back.
And how important is it then when you're in those negotiations that, first of all, you've been there, you know what certain players are like, they're only interested in what the pound shillings and pence are. But how important is it for you when you get that feeling, when you're in talks with a player, that you know that he wants to be at the club? Is that a big thing?
Yeah, well it is, because we've, you have talks with several players, and sometimes you get a feel that the player is he's not showing enough eagerness to come to the club, and therefore you probably turn your attentions elsewhere. And sometimes you get a feel, and you're not always right, but I know with Louie, it's a good move for him, and like I said, gives him the opportunity to show that he's still got a lot left in the tank.
Well, Ricky Miller's next, and he is the proven striker in the lower leagues. How good a feeling is it to get that one over the line? It was a name that was mentioned around for a few weeks, but all of a sudden you've pulled it off.
Well, I think with Ricky, it's he's a player that obviously I've known for several years, from when he was first playing, really come to notice when he was at Boston. I've always liked him, always wanted to sign him, because he's the type of player that's hungry to score goals, but it's difficult to sign any forward player. I have a scout who works for me, who's worked for me in the past, Gareth McLeod, who's always kept in contact with Ricky through all the clubs that he's been, so we've always had a link and a connection with him. He's always known that we'd always be interested if we could get him if he came available, but I have to give the chairman credit in this, because we had the conversation, and I said to the chairman, look, it's pointless you and me going back and forwards. I want to sign the player, you have to try and make it happen. So I left it with him, and he got it done. So I'm pleased that he did, because you have to get goal scorers in the club, and the one thing about Ricky is he is just an out-and-out goal scorer, and he's hungry to score goals.
was a difficult time for him off the field last year, but he ended up playing in a side that was pushing for promotion, so he should be in a good frame of mind when he comes back into pre-season now.
Yeah, he has had off the field problems. I think everybody knows that, and I have to manage that, and I have to manage him, and we have to get him back on track. But if we get him focused and concentrating on his football, which he's here to do, then I'm confident that he'll score goals.
And now you're going to bed them in. They start again this week. Are you looking forward to welcoming him back for your first pre-season? Really, you're going to get your players ready for August.
Yeah, I think the players are the ones who have the break. I think as a manager, you don't have a break really in pre-season, apart from not coming to the ground every day. But no, I think it's good to have new faces at a club, new faces to work with. I think it's good for the other players as well, who have got new players to integrate with. You know, it's different in the dressing room and different in training. It gives everybody a bit of a boost, because I think you always want to try and impress your colleagues. So I think it's good to have a turnover of players. If I was to be manager here for longer, ideally you would want to be bringing in so many faces every year, because you'd like to try and keep a continuity, which has not happened over the last few years. The turnover of players has been too great, and you want to get some players that stay at the club a little bit longer, so that the fans can identify with them as well. So I say there's been a lot of changes, but you know, it's been necessary to do that.
I think it's 8 so far. I think you did mention the word round about 10, so still a bit of work to do, is there for you? Yeah, still a few targets that you're pursuing?
Yeah, we obviously, I said I think in the past we needed to bring some forward players, and I'm confident we'll have another forward player sorted out by Thursday.
And in terms of welcoming back, what does Neil Aspin's pre-season routine schedule? What is it?
I think in terms of welcoming him back, you don't want to, you know, it's. I think the players know what they're expecting. I think we have to set out some rules from the start that we want to implement in terms of, you know, what players can and can't do. But you know, players have got to enjoy coming to train. I think that's key. They've all got to get on well. You've got to get a team spirit. But at the end of the day, they're here to work and to do a job. Holiday's over, and it's a case it's back to work, and you know, it's ready to, you know, to get themselves in shape for the season. So it is important, but you want to mix it up, and you want to have, as I say, the players have got to enjoy coming to work.
The fixtures came out. How strange it came to be. Cambridge was one of your darkest days since you took over as the manager, unfortunately. But that's gone. It's wiped the board. But it's Cambridge your first one, and Lincoln your first cup tie.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not one who looks at the fixtures and thinks, oh, you know, we should have got that, or hope to get something else. Because you never know how any team's going to start, and it'd be wrong to say because some teams you think are going to do well maybe don't, and other teams are surprised. So I think you've just got to, you get the fixtures, you take what, you know, you get what you're given. The fact that it's Cambridge and we ended the season with such a bad display, you'd like to think that the players, you know, want to put that right. So I certainly do. We must be, like I said at the end of last season, we must be better than we were last season. And but I think any game, whether it's Cambridge or whoever we play, you want to get off to a good start, and where it's home, so you want to have a good factor, feel good factor, and like I say, it's important we can get off to a good start.